Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. So today you are gonna come along with me to feed. This is our main feeding time of an afternoon. It takes us roughly an hour and a half to 2 hours. This is kind of when the major stuff happens. I did record my morning feeding one day and that only took about 45 minutes. So today we are really getting in depth with what goes on here at Woodcock Farms. So the first thing I've done is back in this section behind me, I've opened up some gates. We have some weaned calves in there that we just kind of moved around, and I've got the gate open hoping that the feeders will come in when they hear the tractor. My hopes are not high. I'd say I will have to go get them, but you know, all in a day's work. So what you saw right there was just a little snippet of me cleaning up some of the feed. You may not know this, but cows are picky. If something is old, if they don't like the taste of something, they won't eat it. So that had been there for a few days. We had been putting out mix on top of it, and they decided they didn't want it anymore, so it was time for it to go. Normally, I would be back there cutting the strings off, but I forgot my cutter. So I came and got it. Now I'm going to up the RPMs on the tractor to 20,000 and turn the PTO on so that we can start mixing. Record there was me pulling the strings off the bale, and then my video of us putting the bale in got cut just a little short because I noticed that there was a string on there. We really try to not get those in there, so I did have to cut the video short to cut that off. And then I'm sure you noticed the tractor trying to hold that bale in, so the bale that we put in there is just a tiny bit big. The mixer mixes it up fine, but it does kind of spit some out sometimes. So I am fixing to get the pitchfork and all of this on the ground that came off when I was pulling the strings off. I'm going to gather it up, throw it in, and then anything that comes out while we are mixing, I'll throw that back in there too. So this is kind of just a waiting game when you hope that nothing falls out, but then sometimes half the bale does. This is just one of two mixes that we're gonna make today. I personally, I can't lie to you, I really don't know that much about the bales that we put in. So when we get that back in our second mix, I'm gonna let Granddad explain it to you so you know a little bit more about what kind of nutrition we're giving to the cows. Okay, so while he is feeding out that first mix, I said earlier that I hope the feeders would come in just as much as I expected it. They did not. So let me grab a bucket and we are gonna go get the feeders up. So I feel like I should probably explain what my bucket here is for. There's nothing in it. They don't know that. So I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna beat on it, and usually they'll come to it. So I feel like part of having cows is that you just gotta learn how to trick them just the right way. It's a very pretty day out today. It rained a lot yesterday, so we're a little muddy around here. Come on, get her up! Get her up! Come on, kiddos! You ready to get in the barn and get something to eat? Come on! Sometimes I like to see if they'll follow me. Oh, there go the dogs. Come on, kiddos. Usually they'll follow me all the way to the rest of the barn and I don't really have to beat on the bucket. I think once they see the bucket, they're like, oh, that's where the feed comes from. We're gonna follow it. So, but they are a cantankerous little bunch, so you really never know what they're gonna do. Okay, now we're making some progress. We're on our way back to the barn right now, coming up the hill, and I think once we get up here, they're finally like, you know what, it's time to eat, let's go. Usually my goal is to get back in before Granddad gets done feeding the mix out, and I was successful today. I'm gonna tell on my husband real quick. One of the first times he ever came over to our farm, he had on a pair of boots that was not his size. And sure enough, he stepped in a big pile of mud, manure, you know, just a mix of it. Boot came out, sock went down in the manure. I laughed, but in the same day, I was in this pen over here, right there where the feeders are, slipped in a pile of manure and fell flat on my face. So I guess we had an interesting first time at the barn. I don't know if that was the first time, but it was definitely one of the first times, because we think we've been dating very long. But anyway, I think we both learned our lesson on that one. Watch where you're stepping, wear boots that are the right size. I don't know. All the cows have been fed one round of mix. They're gonna get another. These are the babies. They'll get fed once I go through and bring all the other ones in, because we don't want anybody to miss out, you know, so we try and go get them if we can. And then there's the baby. If anybody remembers a wild cow, this is a wild gal. She is not quite sure about the camera yet, but we're working on it. Okay, so I just did a quick battery change on this thing. It took me no less than 5 minutes. I could not figure out how to do it, but I got it. We are going to once again turn the PTO on, turn the tractor up to 20,000 RPMs, and get our second mix going. chopping up, I will let him tell you what they are, because I do not want to tell you the wrong thing, and like I said earlier, I really don't know. But yeah, you just saw me unwrap the bales. We do that, and then we put all of the trash in these containers over here, because we don't want to risk a calf getting into the net wrap or anything. So now I'm just waiting on him to get back here with another bale. There in the middle, it essentially works like a blender, basically like a big blender. It's chopping up this bale into fine pieces, and by using the TMR, which stands for total mixed ration, we are able to decide what they eat, how much of it that they do eat. We can change how much we feed based on the weather. If it's colder outside, we can feed more. If it's warmer outside, we don't have to feed as often. It basically lets you control almost every aspect of what you're feeding your cows. You know, by calculating and deciding what to feed your cattle, you can end up with a much better calf crop than you would if you just set out a bale of hay, you didn't really know what it was and how much they were eating of it. This way we are really able to key in on certain factors of nutrition and what can really result in a better calf crop, better mothers, better milk production, everything. And of course, we're not a dairy, but you still want your calves to get a good start to life. So by giving the cattle what they need, really, you're really setting yourself up for success. Okay, Granddad, tell us a little bit about what we are feeding our cows.
Okay, well, we're trying to feed them high protein, some high protein feed, high protein bales. It's called sorghum Sudan, and it's a high quality feed. Actually, it's too high quality for beef cows unless they're in early lactation or mid lactation. And so what we're trying to do is we raise that for our protein, then we feed them just mainly a fescue hay and try to get like a 60-40 mix of 60% high protein feed and 40% of the regular grass hay. And it should give them pretty much a balanced ration. And we try to feed these cows. These cows weigh about 1,400 pounds on average. We try to feed them 40 pounds of feed a day, or a little more, depending on the weight of the bales. Actually, right now we're feeding 3 bales a day. And the high moisture bales, the sorghum Sudan are high moisture. They're wrapped as baleage, and so they're probably around 50 to 60% moisture. Rule of thumb, the old rule of thumb, is 2 pounds of air dry hay per 100 pounds of body weight per head per day. So at 50% moisture, you have to figure all those things. I don't write it down, I just kind of figure it in my head. But our cows seem to do good on that ration, and it seems to be the least expensive way for us to feed. And it also helps us because we grind it to eliminate almost all waste, which is very important.
Okay, so while Granddad is feeding out the mix, the real fun of my job starts. The part that I enjoy because I'm with the cows. I'm going to run the feeders out. I'm going to put our big steers that are going to be beef. They're going to get fed on one side, and the weaned calves are going to come over here and get fed on the other side. Go on, kiddos. Go on. They sometimes want to stop walking right here when they get to the gate. Come on, kiddos, gotta get up. Gotta get up and get at them. Get back out to eating. Come on, kiddo. This is the bucket that I put all my heavy stuff in because it's the only one with a handle. Granddad just got done feeding the mix, so I'm gonna go in the pen with those cows and get all the calves to come in. It does get a little mucky in here just because the cows are in here, you know, that happens. There's Aurora. To cut it off because he ran around me, but just know that it becomes my personal mission to get these calves inside. Where'd you go? That's him right there. So mission accomplished. He's turning the big steers that we just fed out, so I have got my bucket of feed that Ellie is eating on. What a dog. But I'm gonna go ahead and feed them. Good job, kiddos. You're ready to get fed too, aren't you? Yeah. Well, don't fall. I not only love cows, I also love cats. So, I don't know what that says about me, but I have a lot of good friends. Just kidding. Garfield, are you ready to eat? Garfield, you ready to eat? Yeah. He's such a little old man cat. He's so sweet. Taking you on a tour of the cats. Say hi, Shadow. I'm not sure you've seen this one. What are you doing? Don't quote me on it, but I do believe the cats' names are Tennessee, Texas, and Florida. Because they're all orange, and those are all orange schools. I don't know, don't quote me on it. There must be some crumbs of cat food left down in there because I just emptied up the bag. Where are you at, Freebie? Where are you at, Freebie? Here you are. Here you go. Aurora. There we go. If you have not watched our Freebs Friday video, you need to go watch it because I did promise them treats this morning, so I had to fulfill it this afternoon. It was a really good one though. So if you haven't watched it, be sure to go watch that video. Do you not get enough to eat? I know you do. I know you got enough to eat. All you do is eat all day long.
I know that.
Okay, well, I've just closed the gate at the barn. We are done with that for the day. We are putting a bale of hay out for the feeders, but other than that, we're done. So we just fed that bale of hay to the feeders. That'll last them for a few days. But that's pretty much all we do of an afternoon. I know it seems like the video is going to make it seem so short, but it actually takes, we've been outside for right at 2 hours. So we do this every day around 3 o'clock. Yeah, it's pretty much all there is to it. I think we can gather that two things: my video skills are not that great, and most of my jobs require 2 hands. So maybe we can get Asa out here to film it one day. He is objectively better at this than I am, but now I'm just using my natural resources, if you watched the last video, to clean off my boots. So, I hope you've enjoyed this video. This is still kind of out of my comfort zone, so bear with me, but that is all I've got for today. So let me know what you think.